Well, good evening everyone and welcome along to FRL. We are here for F1 2021 action. It is F1 Season 5, the Spanish Grand Prix for pre-season race 2. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always. And as you can hear, my co-commentators literally just got back from topping up his water, which is well timed whatsoever. Joining me, of course, in the comment box tonight, it is Mr. URL Nick. Nick, how you doing? I'm doing really well. Excited for the action that's going to unfold us here tonight. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. And of course, if you missed Bahrain, well, where on earth were you? Boltzmann took a very dramatic win last week, of course, in Bahrain. Puncture through the final corner, he hung on by 0.3 of a second to win that race, and that was an unbelievable feat from last to first, of course, Boltzmann did last week. But will he be able to continue that tonight? Well, who knows, around Spain, around a track that is synonymous, of course, for the rain. It's going to be clear weather, there's no safety car like last night in F3 and in F4. But it should be quite a fascinating night, and if the guys as close as what they were in F3, then we should see a very competitive grid here tonight. Apparently we can't hear you on the stream. I've just been told by JB. It might be the party settings if I'm not mistaken. It's one thing we forgot to check before we went live, and I think I surprised Nick by going live when I did as well, so that's probably why we're not as prepared as what we might have necessarily been. But hopefully they can hear you now. Yeah, might be. You've got to allow for your party to be on share, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Like your voice to be on share, even. Can everyone hear Nick now? Oh, I'm just running a check as well. I've got the stream up, so. I think they can hear you, if I'm not mistaken. I heard your voice there. So I think we are pretty much now good to go in terms of the stream, which is really... Oh, JB said no, nothing. Well, this is a great start. Obviously, some technical difficulties going on here, which is absolutely typical. But, of course, we are here in Spain, the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. 4.6 mile inland, 2.6... Let's start that again. 4.6 kilometers inland, 2.8 miles, 16 turns awaiting these guys out on track, and a lot of overtaking opportunities down in towards turn 1, down in towards turn 10 as well. But hopefully it is going to be a really interesting night, and hopefully everyone is going to deliver. We've got 17 drivers here, so by my reckoning, I don't think we're waiting on anyone else, so I think we might be good to go in terms of getting this race started. Nick, are you back with us?
Let's see if they can hear me now. I'm not sure.
No, there's a major quietness when you're speaking, and you're not coming through.
Okay. I've literally just unplugged and plugged it back in. So let's. I've also checked. I can share my voice in the party. I think I see a yes in the stream.
Oh, we can hear him now. We can hear you now. Fantastic. Oh,
Perfect.
Goodness me. We better get the necessities out of the way. How on earth are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing well, thank you. The mic got me a bit stressed out, but I'm perfect now. But yeah, I can't wait.
Cannot wait, of course. And we are around Spain, the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. And what I was saying there is there's plenty of opportunities for overtaking. 2 DRS zones, of course, that can promote that overtaking. And one of the longest runs down towards turn 1 on the F1 calendar.
Exactly. If they can get a good exit out of that final chicane, launch themselves into turn 1, I'm sure we'll see some amazing overtakes through there.
Jensen, by the way, has said you fixed it quicker than I did. So, you've got one over on our Jensen, I think. Of course, our commentator, I think he did commentary last week, if I'm not mistaken, in Bahrain in F2 or in F4. One of the two. He definitely wasn't with us.
Yep, I think he definitely does a bit of commentary for FRL and also other leagues. So, from one commentator to another. Yeah.
That's what we like to see, though. But at least we've got your voice and it can be heard and everything. We've got 18 drivers in now. There's somebody else just joined in, and that's Dark Tuner that has just joined in. So Dark Tuner has just joined in. But 18 drivers here tonight should be quite interesting. And if it's anything like F3, as I've already said, then we should have a really close qualifying session. And we're probably just moments away from actually beginning out on track. Looking at the guys, you've said you raced with quite a few of them before. Who is your favourite coming into qualifying?
It's a tough one. I know Jensen a bit longer, but I think Jensen could snatch that pole, but I've also seen and commentated on Black Box, and I have confidence in Brock as well. But like I said, there is a lot of quick drivers here. Nawal is another driver that I know pretty well, and Jonah, so there are a good few drivers here that I think could clinch it, but Jensen might have that edge. I don't want to be biased here.
Don't want to be biased, but we do have to push you for a top 3, of course, in qualifying. So, who are you going for your top 3?
I think maybe Jensen, Black Box, and potentially Jonah. That's my top 3. But like I said, there are some very quick drivers here that could pull some magic out the bag.
Yeah, it's an interesting top 3, and I'll make my predictions, of course, as we see everyone come up on the left-hand side, because I've totally forgot who might be racing here tonight. But there we are. I'm going to go for my top 3. I'm going to go Surface for pole position. I think he was very quick last time out in Bahrain. Took pole position there. He was class above the rest, really, in terms of the race as well. So I think Surface is going to win. Messina is going to be second if he can put some consistency together, and he's part of TTG, which I might be part of as well, so there's no bias going on there whatsoever. And in P3, I'm going to go for Jensen. I think our defending champion had a bit of a shocker last week, wasn't around the pace. This might be his track, though, and Jensen, I think, will finish in third. So we'll have to see, of course, who might get our qualifying predictions right by the end of this session. But the first cars are going to be leaving the grid very soon indeed. I hope we don't have a glitch, though, like I did last night, because we had to wait, 5 minutes for everyone to leave. I can see, though, Mercedes getting ready. Macho looks like he's going to be one of the first out on track, as well as Yona.
And I can see 3 cars on mediums, Macho, Bunty, and Zizzle. So opting to stop that. Get that bankers maybe on medium tyres, and then hopefully push for a soft run later. But interesting to see that they've gone on mediums this early.
Yeah, and there is Macho coming out of the pit lane right now, and of course he was my co-commentator last night in FRL F3, defending FRL F3 champion as well is Macho, and he'll be hoping for a very good result. Of course, he's done that set of medium compounded tyres, and we have to talk about the tyre strategy around here as well, because on a set of mediums, you're going to be somewhere around 1.2, 1.3 seconds slower than the average on a set of soft compounded tyres. So Macho will be hoping to try and get as good of a lap time in on this set of mediums, and hopefully it might pinpoint him towards the race as well in terms of the medium strategy.
Exactly. A bit surprised that they've gone this early. Hope maybe they could have waited for track evolution, but at the end of the day, these guys know what they're doing. And if they feel like they can set a good time on the mediums this early on in qualifying, then let them get on with it.
Yeah, Macho is coming down in towards turn number 10, of course. There are corner names around here, however they are sponsored. The track sponsors. So I'm not going to literally say, unless the Spanish Grand Prix organisers want to pay me a hefty amount of money to say these sponsors, then I don't know what will be. But Macho is coming in towards turn 13. You can see the aggressive weaving to try and get heat into those tyres to prepare up for his lap. And then they're tried on board then. Coming through turn 14 and 15. Macho should be hoping for around a 116, I think, on a set of mediums. We may sneak the 14s, I think, here tonight as well. But Macho runs across the line on the longest run down in towards turn 1, about a 500-metre run from the start-finish line on the run down in towards turn 1. Breaks just before the 50-metre board, gets the car turned in nicely, catches the curb through 1, through 2, and now through the flat right-hander of turn 3, taking 160 mile an hour through there as he reaches towards the end of the first sector. Macho through the first sector, 21.4, so quicker than what we saw last night in F3, and that is a big comparison that we're going to draw, of course, from last night. Macho coming through now turn number 5, and then through the kink in towards turn 6, and then in toward the left and right of 7 and 8. If you get caught on one of these curves, it might send you into the wall like we saw with Matey Boy last night in qualifying, as Macho now comes up in towards turn 9 on the uphill rise, gets caught on the curb, runs him out wide, but he might be a sub 50 actually through the middle sector here, and he is. It's a 49.8 through the middle sector, so Macho's on an absolute flyer of a lap here on a set of mediums. Catches the curve coming out of turn 10 though, through turn 11. How on earth he recovered that is beyond me, but rightfully so, he's backed out his lap.
Yeah, shame. It was on for a very quick lap. I think now up on the soft tyres was just about matching him as well, so Macho on those mediums showing he has some great pace in hand around this track.
Yeah, now Up's coming through the final corner. He catches the curb out of 15. He gets caught on the grass. It's Macho to the line with a 119.1, but now Up comes across the line a 115.6. We will see quicker lap times than that, though, everyone, because Zizzle is coming through the final corner as well. He's in the Alpine. I think there was a Williams in front just coming across the line as well, because Zizzle is now into the pit lane because he's just invalidated coming out of turn 15. Anybody else I can see on a lap?
Jensen's on the lap.
Yeah, Jensen's on a lap. He's coming through the end of the middle sector, or towards the end of the middle sector.
But I think the AlphaTauri will get out the way. Yes, I think it's a bit far away now, but oh, Jensen's backed out of it.
He has. I think Baraka might be on a lap in the Alfa Romeo. He's coming through in towards 14, 15, 16. He doesn't look that quick, though. I've got to be honest. I think he's going for maybe a banker lap here. Surface, however, a 114.9. Baraka really struggling around the final corner, and Baraka slows to the line. It's a 118.2. And we're seeing quite a few guys break before the pit lane, or before the stop-finish line. So that is why we're seeing not too good lap times. But Surface out on top, a 114.9. If he stays there, my prediction is 1/3 coming right.
Well, you said that maybe we could get into the 114s and straight away from Surface he's in the 114. So I'm expecting more drivers, to be honest, maybe to get into the 114s if we're getting into that region this early on. But looking at the rest of the grid, quite a few drivers on the track. Let's see what Massini can do as he's in the third sector, 49.5 as he gets to that second sector split. Now going into the final few corners. Let's see how he takes his last chicane.
Oh, he's cut the curb!
Ah, unlucky. Curb this game.
Catches the sleeping policeman, yeah, on the inside. He catches the sleeping policeman on the inside, and it spins him around. I think he would have went second with that lap. I saw him, though, through turn 10, just before you came aboard with him, I think. He ran so wide in terms of track limits coming out of turn 10, and I think he just about got away with that. I think he was about 20 feet away from the exit of the apex, basically.
Wow. It's also showing that this game is a slight tad bit more lenient to track limits as it was in the previous game, so some drivers might be able to get away with it in certain parts of the track. But yeah, he got very lucky there.
Rocco's on a very good lap. He's coming around the final corner now, and the Williams could go quickest, actually. He's just behind Surface. 115.2 it is from Rocco, and he goes within 0.2 of a second of Surface ahead. And it's actually the AlphaTauris 1 and 3 at the minute. Surface out on top, Rocco second, Black Box in third. Obrock, by the way, 15.6 behind Macho on a set of medium compound tyres. He's went 2 laps on that set of mediums. He looks like a guaranteed man who's going to maybe be in the top 3.
Yeah, blistering pace on those medium tyres. Macho as well, like those two on those medium tyres doing a very good job. And like as you said earlier with the tyre delta from the medium to the soft, expect these guys, if they do a soft run later on, to be up there in the top 3 potentially.
Jonah's on a good lap. He's coming out of the final corner a little bit slow coming out of 15, but he now rounds the final corner. Could he go ahead of Rocco? No, just in behind, a 115.3 from Jonah. But he goes third, and he's behind the Williams of Rocco and behind Surface as well. But a very good lap by the URL man.
Exactly. A bit of bias because URL, but good to see him up there.
It is good to see him up there. I tell you what, though, Kazizel has just set a stonking middle sector to 49.2 through the middle sector for Kazizel. He's in the Williams. He's alongside Rocco here tonight. Of course, these guys don't know if they're going to be teammates or not. They might have already picked their teammates. We find out, though, within the next week or two that we're going to see the teammates. Kazizel, though, is on a flyer of a lap here. He's going to go quickest of everyone here tonight. Kazizel runs to the line. It's a 1:14.6, and that is how you lay the gauntlet down. Kazizel with a 1:14.6. However, I've got to be honest, I think we'll still see lap times below that.
Yeah, I can't fault you there, mate. Definitely, we still have a bit of time left in the track. The track will grip up a bit more. But I just wanted to say one thing. The way he took that the curve on the last chicane, just riding it and no upset to the car, just shows that he's got a really good, comfortable car underneath him. So definitely, that does inspire a lot of confidence within him, which is pretty good. Like, as you could tell with that lap that he just set.
Yeah, so impressive, I think, from Kazizel. Obviously, he reserved last week in Bahrain, and I don't think he was probably meant to be here tonight because it was literally a one-time thing. He's here, though, and he's at the top of the standings. It's a 1:14.6 from Kazizel. Surface in second, Rocco in third. Denzo on a lap, though, the Leonis racing man, coming through now turn 10. It's a 49.4 through the middle sector, so he's roughly about 2-3 tenths off Surface Kazizel sort of area, so we might be hoping to try and scrape into the 1:14s with this lap. Out of turn 13, misses the curb, but that tries to prioritise the exit. Coming through 14, in towards 15, yellow flags in sector 1, don't worry about that. Denzo, in fact, has just made a mistake coming through the final corner. Not sure who was taking the MotoGP line, by the way, in towards the final corner there, but Denzo slows down, and I don't think he wants to be a man that actually wants to be in the top 10.
I think you will also see a lot of these drivers braking before the start-finish line just so they can get a good deltas on the next flying lap, so they can get a good gauge. But yeah, exactly. Expect some of these guys to do what I call the P11 strategy. Get P11, have a brand new set of tyres, potentially start on the mediums or the hard tyres, and run your race from there. So watch out for a good number of drivers that might try that strategy around, especially because tyre wear around Spain is pretty high, and the temperatures can get pretty hot as well.
Yeah, 2-stop and 1-stop strategies were very key. It was Rackler who obviously took the win last time out. He did a 1-stop strategy. The rest of the field, however, apart from one driver, I think, one other driver apart from the winner, were on a 2-stop strategy. So it just comes to show who can handle those tyres better. And you would imagine in FRL F1 here tonight that most of these guys will be right on board with Dark Tuna coming out of turn 8, and he's just invalidated coming out of turn 8 in towards turn 9. But you would imagine that most of these guys will probably be in and around the 1-stop strategy, I would think.
Exactly. I think most of these drivers will be able to pull it off, but we could see a few drivers being aggressive, maybe going on those mediums and soft tyres, trying to put a bit of a charge on the guys ahead. So we'll see how that goes. Another thing to add is that we do not have any safety cars here, so if a car does spin out, there's no opportunities later on for them to catch back up to the pack.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't end in a scenario like FRL F4 last night, where there was only 3 finishers and they were spread out like a washing line. Surface, though, coming through the final corner. Can he respond to Kazizel? Nearly. 3/10 improvement, but not enough to go quicker. Kazizel is still out on top. Surface in second. Rocco's a 10th up coming out of the first sector into the middle sector. T-Hawk, by the way, has spun coming out of turn 15, so he's in the wall on the right-hand side.
Yeah. So, unlucky for him. I think I was just about to cut on board with him, and then he binned it, so I missed that. But unlucky for him.
Obrock's gone second, and he's 6,000ths of a second off Kazizel. That is an unbelievable lap from the Alpine, and Obrock goes second. Rocco, what is he doing? He's 2/10 up out of the middle sector, coming through the final corner now. Can he respond to Surface? Can he respond to Obrock? No, it's a 15 flat. A bit disappointed in the final sector as well from Rocco. Black Box is 2/10 up coming out of the middle sector as well, so he'll be hoping to try and get a good lap in the IFR man, of course, because Zizzle though out on top, Obrock second, Surface in third.
Sorry to cut in there. Black Box just going a bit wide and invalidating, so that soft run is now binned, but he was on a very good lap there.
He was. He would have been looking to go probably ahead of Yona, maybe behind Rocco, maybe ahead of Rocco even as well, but Black Box has got the pace. We know he's got the pace. Can he replicate that though? Jensen on a lap to the line, a 1:15.4 on a set of mediums. Are you absolutely mad going 0.8 of a second off pole?
Jensen, I was on board with quite a few of his medium laps. He's just been trying to find the limit, I think, and he finally managed to put on a good lap. You can see a 15.4. I think that's the most competitive medium time we've seen today. So let's see what he will do. He's currently P7. I think if he drops down to that P9, P10 region, it might be worth him going onto a soft run and elevating himself to the top of the grid.
Yeah, Jensen is there or thereabouts, I think, in terms of the pace tonight. He'll be hoping that nobody else can really improve with 4.5 minutes to go in qualifying still, because this is allowed on top. Obrock second, Surface in third. Of course, if you are enjoying the stream and enjoying our lovely commentary, then you can like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you are new. And I've been promised, if we do get to 700 subscribers, we do get monetized. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, let's get that goal. I think we do put on some pretty good streams and races out here, so let's see how many subscribers we can get.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic if we can reach 700 maybe before midpoint of the season. That'll be epic. I think Macho, though, is on a lap. He's on a set of softs now, and he's looking quick. It's a 49.4 through the middle sector for Macho. He's only improving 0.3 of a second. But remember, he backed off his lap. He backed off his last lap coming across the line. So he should be going a mile quicker than some of the guys towards the top end. Macho now coming through. Turn 13. Oh, nearly catches the curve. Through 14, through 15. How on earth he controlled that to get through the final corner safely? Through to the line. Macho goes fourth with a 14.9. But that could have ended one other way.
Exactly, he got a pile of understeer just before he got to the final chicane. Just about kept it in control as well. But getting to P4, I think he lost around 2-3 tenths in that last sector easily.
And Messina has just dropped into 7th. In the Haas, he goes 7th with a 1:15.1.
On those mediums, so showing the mediums still have pretty decent pace. Obviously the track has rubbered in a bit more, so the grip levels have increased, so yeah, a good lap from Messina there.
Doc Tuno, I think, invalidated on his lap. Nawalp is taking the MotoGP line coming through the final couple of corners.
Ooh,
and Doc Tuno decides to do the same.
Ooh, Nawalp crashed into the pit lane exit, lost control of his car.
I think
a comical mistake there, but
he'll learn now. I think he's probably realised that he can't go 160 mile an hour into the pit stop, into the pit lane, and then he's crashed into the pit wall. So I think it's a mistake on his behalf, but I think he'll now know that he can't do that ever again.
Yeah, and maybe getting a bit of practice in before the race.
I think he is. He probably is, to be honest. Bunty's out there on a lap, but he's invalid, and he's 1.4 seconds down, actually, through the first sector. Burrell and Lars Kramer, two FVR boys, down at the bottom of the field at the minute. Haven't set times. One on an Alpine, one on a McLaren. I have a feeling they're going to do a little bit of inter-team tactics, possibly. They're not in the same team, but they are in the same esports organisation. And I think Lars is probably going to give Burrell, who I believe is quicker than Lars, a bit of slipstream, especially because Burrell's on a set of softs and Lars Kramer's on a set of mediums.
Yeah, bit of a cheeky slipstream. I'm not sure how far you need to be back on this game to get a bit of a slipstream, but it's nice to see if they are working together. Even though it's a bit of an inter-team dealing, it's nice to see some teamwork somewhere.
Well, I don't think he's going to be teamworking them because they're miles away from each other coming through the final corner. I don't think that's going to literally happen.
Yeah, they did gap each other quite a bit, but let's see how Lars' lap does go on his medium.
Oh,
as he's invalidated. How lucky he got a big snap of oversteer. And FRL, both of them.
I can only just laugh at that.
Both mirrored each other through turn 1 and 2. Got big snaps of oversteer into turn 2, which made them to cut the inside of turn 2 and invalidate their lap times. Unlucky for them. I don't think they'll be able to go around to get a lap. It'll be pretty tight. No, they won't have enough time. So that's their qualifying done for today.
It is, but starting from the back of the field, like Bolstman did last week in Bahrain, I wonder if that's going to be the case. In fact, actually, I think we've got a bit of a timings glitch, because I can see many cars coming through the middle sector still, and I think we've got about a minute left in qualifying still, so I think those guys might be fine. But rather than Lars Kramer should get another lap in, because we obviously have the minute glitch.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because as I can see, yeah, there's a lot of people on the outlaps, and they're only in the middle and last sector, so I think we do have a bit of a timing glitch here. So let's see how these laps go on. I'm going to stay on with the homeboy O'Brock. Me and him both from the same city, so I'm just going to watch his lap. Currently in P2, only 6 milliseconds away from Kazizel, so let's see how he goes as well.
I wish we had a comparison with these laps, because I'm above with Surface. He's coming through the end of the middle sector, and I tell you what, Surface is lightning quick through this middle sector to 49.1, and he's nearly 0.2 of a second up, so Surface is on an absolute humdinger of a lap as he now comes through turn 11, and then through turn 12, doesn't run wide, which is good, through 13, in toward 14 and 15, the real last test of the car, out on track, through 15, beautiful from Surface. This is Paul any day of the week. Surface now runs to the line, and it's a 1:14.4. That lays down the gauntlet, because Iddle's 0.2 up, and O'Brock looks like he's up as well.
Yep, O'Brock matching his first sector, just a tenth and a bit up in the middle sector, so on a very good lap right now. Let's see what he can do. Has he kept the tyres in check for the last sector? Let's see as he hops over the last corner. Oh, he goes a bit wide, doesn't invalidate, so I think he had to do a bit of a safety lift there.
What a lap!
What a lap. O'Brock only improves by 60 milliseconds, so unlucky from him, but currently P3. Macho on a lap, 83 milliseconds down on his previous time, so let's see if he can claw back anything in the last sector, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just looking through. Baraka's 0.5 up, but I don't think he's going to try and improve. He may want to stay outside of the top 10, Baraka, as he backs off running to the line. It's a 15.3 and he goes 11. Lucky for him. Denzo is invalidated. Doc Tuna across the line, he goes 12, so he's down right at the back.
Macho doesn't improve, 5 milliseconds down from his time, so stays in P5. But, well, big shock for me, Jensen P13. Maybe that's strategic, I'm not sure, because he was running in P11 for a while, so then got bumped down to P13, but I don't think anyone else is on a lap right now.
No, that's it. That's the end of qualifying, it's Kazizel. A 1:14.2, where in all that's holy has that lap came from? That was an insane lap by Kazizel, running down the full grid order now, and it's Kazizel out on top. He's 2 3/4 tenths ahead of Surface. But the 1:14.4 Surface has got. Kazizel out on top, Surface is second, O'Brock is in third. I thought it would be quite close in qualifying. They're strung out like an absolute washing line in terms of the top 10. The top 10 is separated by, get this, 1 second. Last night in F3, 7.5 tenths covering the top 14.
Amazing. That P1 time is absolutely just blowing everyone out of the water. 2 1/4 tenths ahead of P2. Expect some very good. We could see some very good race pace from him as well. But like you said, a second covering the top 10. Not as tight as yesterday, but still pretty tight. But big shock for me, Jensen, P13. Maybe that was strategic, I'm not 100% sure. But we'll see how his race pans out as well.
Yeah, Messina, I think, is a big shock for me. Down in 10th position. I mean, I predicted him for second. And, I mean, look where he is. He's down in 10th. He was borderline on the bottom half of the grade, basically, to get that free choice of tyre. Kazizel and Surface are super close to each other, like last week in Bahrain, says Charlie. I totally agree. I think we're in for an absolute cracker of a race. Remember, there's no safety cars, no VSEs here tonight. It is just pure racing for 33 laps. But there is damage, and there's side pod damage, and we saw that last night with Oliver picking up side pod damage on his car. So these guys have got to tread carefully. There's a thin line, really, between pacing yourself within this race and trying to manage those tyres.
Exactly. Like you said, hinted with that side pod damage, you can't be barging your competitor or tapping them too much, because you can't, and you also can't be squeezing because you will get that barge damage, and it does hinder you a lot on the straights as well. You tend to lose a lot of top speed, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys manage their race. Especially, as you said, there's no safety car, so let's see how many risks these drivers do take as well.
I think the drivers are prepared to take risks out on track, and that's what we might see. Top 8, of course, qualifying on that set of soft compound tyre. Everyone else, Lars Kramer and Messina, of course, qualifying on that set of medium compound tyre. It's a bit of a split strategy. It's 50-50 further down the field. Dark Tuner, Bunty, T-Hawk and Burrell all on a set of medium compound tyres. On a set of hards, Baraka, Jensen, Denzo and Bolstman. Obviously, those guys on a set of hard compound tyres will be hoping to go around lap 20, lap 21, maybe go on the easy side for a set of medium compound tyres. 12 laps on a set of softs, definitely a no-go around here. For the guys on the mediums though, Nick, Dark Tuner, Bunty, T-Hawk and Burrell, what are their strategies? Because we saw last night, the mediums only lasted about 12 or 13 laps on average.
Yeah, they do, and especially with the full heavy fuel, they do get treated quickly. I suspect they could try that 2-stop, but those hard tyres do go a long distance. So if they do pit around lap 12, I feel like those hards will go to the end, but they will struggle. So I think it still might be a bit up in the air with those medium runners, with where they will be. But they are fresh tyres, that's another thing to bear in mind.
Yeah, we saw it with Rackler last night. He was the one that decided to go mediums to hards, one-stop strategy. It worked beautifully for him. He won the race out on track, and they'll be hoping, Dark Tuner, Bunty, T-Hawk and Burrell, they'll be hoping to try and get. Similarly as well, Boltzmann, Denzo, Jensen, Baraka on that set of hards, transitioning maybe to a set of softs by the end of the race if they can manage those tyres effectively to around lap 25, 26. That is the point when they'll come in for that set of soft compound tyres. But, Nick, I'm going to come across to you. Who's your top 3?
Kazizel, O'Brock, Black Box, let's just say that. But I've just said that. If those medium runners can get within the soft tyre runners within the next 5 laps, they'll be in a perfect position when the soft tyres start to fall off. Because they will be able to make up this position. So it's still a bit up in the air.
Still a bit up in the air. Anything can happen in Formula 1, and it's about to go once again in FRL F1 for pre-season race 2 here, of course, in Spain. There is a long run down towards turn 1 as now the 5 red lights go out. Well, they have went out, but the 5 red lights are going to be on very soon indeed. The revving engines are on, and we're about to get underway, and it's lights down, away we go, and Kazizel gets a very good start. Surface better, although off the start, and there's major crash further down the field. It's Denzo. Bunty caught up in an incident as well. Kazizel defending aggressively down in towards turn 1, and a VSC has been deployed. A VSC has been deployed. It's Kazizel out on top, Surface second, Jonah third, O'Brock in fourth. What on earth happened off that start, though? It looked like nobody moved.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one there, and also I'm sure safety car is off, so I'm not sure why there is a virtual safety car.
I have a feeling I'm not sure if we might have to restart this because of the safety car being on, but
yeah, I did check those settings a good 3-4 times before I started, but yeah, a bit of a strange start there. It was surprising to see, but he was on the hard tyres, Denzo, so I think he just lit them up a bit too quickly.
Yeah, he did. It looked like somebody didn't move in front of him. It might have been Bunty. He was up in 13th, I think, off the start, and I think he got up in a collision with Denzo, maybe. But VSE is going to end very soon indeed. We're going to be back underway. Kazizel really defended hard, though, down in towards turn 1, and we've maybe one too many times to actually hold on to that position. But we're back underway. The VSE has now been undeployed, and now Kazizel leads us on with green flag racing. Further down the field, though, Rocker was spun, coming out through 11 and 12, and I think he's got caught on the curb on the inside there. Burrell has been caught up in a slight incident as well, I think, with Boltzmann further down the field, but it's Kazizel who leads on the end of lap 1. Surface in second, Jonah in third, O'Brock in fourth, Black Box fifth, Macho, Lars Kramer, Messina, Baraka, and Nawab are your top 10. Side by side further down the field, though, I think it was T-Hawk and Jensen, but that's just my interval timings being astray. Jensen's on the back of Dark Tuner.
Yeah, shame for Rocker, he's on the soft tyres. That's not what he wanted, because those soft tyres will start to fall away, and he really needed to try and stick with the top pack, because that top pack could act as a bit of a defence for him when it comes to those medium and hard runners ploughing through the field when the soft tyres start to fall away.
Nathan in the chat, by the way, saying Rocco was the best teammate to win. He's down in last now. There, that you've said that, Nathan, so well done. Kazizel leads the way. Surface in second, Jonah in third. Surface, though, is right on the back of Kazizel, and if Kazizel aggressively defends like what he did at the end of turn 1, will Surface match that? Will Surface come back and think, you know what, Kazizel, you're weaving too many times, I'm literally just going to lick the stamp and send it, possibly for the race lead?
Yep. And when that DRS is enabled, expect that long DRS train, because Zizzle will have to burn a bit more ERS than Surface to defend. So let's see if Surface can play that strategic game, not use as much of his ERS, and let that DRS just let him close into the back of Zizzle.
Yeah, both on the same ERS usage, actually 77% roughly down and towards turn 1, because Zizzle sets a new fastest lap of the race. Lars, by the way, is trying to launch an attack down the inside line for P6. This is on Macho, and Macho has been outgunned. The McLaren is through on the Mercedes, and Lars Kramer is through. Quite surprising that, I've got to be honest. Lars is obviously on a set of medium compound tyres. Maybe Macho has got some underlying damage on his car, but that looked very easy from Lars' perspective. He's through and he's into P6.
Yep, Lars doing exactly what I said. If he can get amongst those soft tyre runners, he'll be in a perfect position to challenge for that win, because these soft tyres will start to fall away from lap 5 or 6 maybe, the amount of tyre where you get on 4 tanks of fuel.
Yeah, and look at the man that's behind Macho as well, out on track. Look, it's Messina.
I think that's a spinner.
Oh, Brock.
I think that's a spinner. Brock spins, yeah, out of that fast turn 10, I believe. Not a good sign. Let's hope that he hasn't got any real floor damage from that. It seemed like a bit of a nasty shunt there with the barrier. So I think he just got a bit of a wash of dirty air there, and then just the car completely lost itself. I have noticed on this game it's much harder to catch a car once it starts to go.
Yeah, so unfortunate for O'Brock. He's down in 15th now behind his teammate, in fact, in Burrell. Macho is into the pit lane. Surface, by the way, attacking for the race lead. Doesn't get the move done, though, down in towards turn 1. So we'll focus then on that pit stop, as actually Rocco just goes through on Bunty. Burrell is fighting side by side with Boltzmann down the field. This is for 12th, and Burrell is through. Down the inside line he goes. Boltzmann, though, loses it by himself on the curb. Luckily, has kept it out the wall. I would just put a reset to track on that, and he has. Boltzmann comes out on track in P13. Macho did come into the pit lane. Did he have front wing damage, though?
I am not 100% sure. I wasn't able to stay with this pit lane, but a bit of a strange one going early if he didn't have damage. O'Brock also opting for medium tyres. So I think O'Brock on that 2-stop now just going to use the pace from those medium tyres, see if he can claw back any more positions. With that pace advantage, he will be running in around 12 seconds of clear air, so let's see how his pace goes on. Expect some fast stuff from him, I think.
Jonah, by the way, is pulling away from Black Box. He's just made a mistake coming out of turn 12. But Jonah is on the back of Surface, and he hasn't got DRS behind him. In fact, Black Box is in. Black Box comes into the pit lane, is going to try and go undercut, maybe 2-stop strategy here for the IFR man. So he is into the pit lane, in from 4th position, and he'll be hoping to try. As Messina sets the fastest lap of the race, and I think that might be the time now for you to go on to a set of medium compound tyres. Black Box is in. He's got no damage at all. He's on to a set of medium compound tyres, and he should be out, maybe ahead of Macho, I think. He's going to be well ahead of Macho, in fact.
Yeah, going for that undercut. He will get a very strong undercut. I think the softs are starting to fall away quite dramatically here. So, a good strategy call from Black Box. Let's see where that will put him when the top runners will start to pit. But Lars will P4. So, I think he's slowly catching up to Jonah as well on this lap. So, I think the soft tyres are starting to drop away now. Now we're hanging on to that position. He has been shifted up the field a bit because of pit stops, but those soft tyres will start to fall away. Expect Dark Trinity to mount an attack on now very soon.
And T-Hawk has spun. T-Hawk has spun coming through. I think Bunty just caught a spin actually there. T-Hawk got on the gravel. He recovered the car nicely. But Bunty, his teammate, lost it completely. So he is spun coming through Sector 1. And that is him round. Jonah is into the pit lane though. In from 3rd position. 117.9. Kazizel responds to Messina's fastest lap. And speaking of Messina, here he comes on Lars Kramer. Down the inside line in towards turn 1. And that is the easiest move, or one of the easiest moves you may see all night. Messina is through. And he's into P3. There's the position gains, by the way. Jensen fighting with Dark Tuner. And Jensen actually launches an attack on Dark Tuner. And I thought there was going to be contact there. But Jensen is through, using his wits about him, and he's through and he's into P7. But the position gains, Barella's gained 9 positions, Messina's gained 7, Baraka, who Nathan has said rightfully so, he could actually score on the podium, he's gained 6 on a set of hards.
Yeah, those hard tyres and medium tyres do look to be running pretty nice. Kazizel saying that fast lap, showing he's still got a bit of pace on the soft tyres, so amazing to see from him. But yeah, as we said earlier, Jonah and Black Box both on those medium tyres, looking for a big undercut, I think, on the top two.
Oh, Lars is late on the brakes on the back of Messina. Goodness me, he was close to the rear end of that Ask, but Lars is still in P4. Doesn't want to go for any more moves like that, to be honest. He's going to overwork his tyres. Rocco, by the way, is DNF'd into the pit lane, so he's retired after a spin, I think, coming through the third sector, so that's why Rocco is out of the race and he's retired.
Yeah, calling it day there. Messina, another fastest lap of the race on those medium tyres. So, good pace. He's only 4.7 behind the leaders, so, show it. I think it's, the pit exit there, a bit tight.
That's Rocco's AI coming out of the pit lane, by the way, so drivers shouldn't really be concerned unless the Ghost decides to, well, mess up your race, and that's what Jensen and Doc Tuna have just had to do. They've had to avoid him, coming through turn 3, and even wider still was Burrell, I think, that was coming through turn 3, and he nearly went onto the gravel on the outside. That's how wide he went. Burrell in 8th position. Lazo still on the back of Messina. Surface not really launching a challenge on Kazizel either. And these guys are just playing a bit of a tactical game, I think, up front.
Yeah, there are some good opportunities to overtake it, but also when your tyres are starting to overheat a bit in that dirty hair, it does make it much harder for you to overtake.
Yeah, Surface is on the back and he'll be hoping. Is he going to try and blink first? Is Kazizel going to blink first in front of him? Yes, Kazizel has blinked first, so he is into the pit lane. Surface has got to put in a qualifying lap-esque performance now on this next lap, but Kazizel is into the pit lane, and this will be crucial. What tyres is he going to go on? Is he going to go on to a set of hards towards the end, or is he going to do Charlie's strategy from last night and go 25 laps on a set of medium compound tyre? Well, he's going on a set of mediums, but where is Boltzmann? Where is Black Box in this as well? Boltzmann's going to be side by side with Kazizel maybe coming out the pit lane. He's got the overrun, but in fact, Kazizel is ahead, and that's crucial for his challenge.
Yeah, a bit surprised that both Black Box and Jonah couldn't get a massive undercut, but Boltzmann has been holding them on those hard tyres, so maybe Kazizel could thank Boltzmann at the end of this race for holding Black Box and Jonah up a tiny bit. Well, I say holding up, these guys are very quick drivers, but yeah, I think you get what I mean there. But let's see what Surface can do on those in that free air now. Can he get a good overcut on the soft tyres? It's in 8 laps on those, which is quite a stretch, I think.
Yeah, he's not pulling enough time to Messina, and that is why I think Kazizel is probably going to be out on top when it comes to him pitting in. Is Surface going to come into the pit lane in this lap around? We'll transition to him now. Yes, Surface is into the pit lane, cuts the white line on the pit entry, but you can do that in Formula 1, so Surface is into the pit lane. The only advantage for him is that the pit lane entry is shorter than what Kazizel's got to do on his lap, so Surface can only hope that he's not going to be ending up in that train, really, with Boltzmann, Black Box and Jonah. They're coming through the final corner. This is going to be close.
On hard tyres. Yeah, Surface on hard tyres, so opting for a different strategy. I think Kazizel has got a massive undercut.
Oh, and it's nearly 3 wide in the back line. Sorry to cut in. Jonah and Black Box have just gone past Boltzmann. Boltzmann was a sitting duck dead in towards turn 1, and it was 3 wide. Black Box and Jonah through. Surface, though, crucially ahead.
Exactly, I just caught that 3 wide moment at the back there, but as you said, Kazizel opening a 2-second gap on that outlap to Surface. The Surface on those hard tyres, so is he looking to go to the end on those hard tyres, sorry. Could be a bit of an ask, but I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah, you'd imagine so, I think. To be honest, I think Surface is going to be in a better position and try and follow the Rackler suit from FRL F3 last night, where he is probably going to be going one-stop strategy till the end. Kazizel, it depends on his tyre wear. If it's around 5% a lap, there's no way those tyres are getting to the end of the race. If he can minute that down to 3% a lap, then there's a chance for him to get to the end. And Charlie mentioned last night that he was on 85%. His right tyre, his front right tyre, was on 85% in terms of the tyre. Look at Kazizel, he's on the back of T-Hawk already.
Literally pushing him through that last, in a sense, pushing him through that last chicane. Amazing stuff. Got to the back of him now. Nice clean overtake on the straight. So, I think Hawk is trying to challenge into that braking zone. So yeah, Kazizel does need to try and get a shift on now, on the medium tyres.
Yeah, easy move there from Kazizel.
if he is doing a two-stop, by the way.
Yeah, I think Kazizel, he's got to hope that he has to try and carry those tyres to a one-stop strategy. If it's two-stop, then there's no chance he's going to actually win this race. And that is going to be the hardest thing of them all, because Kazizel, he's got to manage his tyres effectively. I know Kazizel quite well. He should effectively manage his tyres, but it's all dependent on what he does. Does he go for the pace over the tyre management, or does he go over tyre management over the pace? That's the thin line he's got to walk on.
I think he's going to have to channel an inner Sergio Perez and just baby those tyres if he wants to try and win this race. I think the two-stop could be a bit tough. But if the tyre fall off of his competitors is quite high, he might be able to put a bit of a shock in there. But let's just see how he manages his race.
Rocco's left the session though, we thank him for attending. Jonah on the back of Black Box, by the way, and they're in turn on the back of Surface, so this could get quite interesting, but Jonah looks like he's got the pace to get past Black Box here. He's on the back of the AlphaTauri, the two sister cars running nearly line of stern down in towards turn 1. I don't think Jonah's going to be close enough down in towards turn 1, and Black Box remains in position. But if Jonah was in clear air, I think he'd absolutely outdo Black Box and Surface, given that he's in clear air. And in fact, that might be just the omen that he needs. Black Box runs out wide coming through turn 3, and Jonah once again is right on the back. But Jonah, I've got to say, has got pace to burn.
Yep, Jonah, I have raced with him quite a lot, and he does have a lot of pace in hand. And as you can see, right on the back of the sister cars, both Service and Black Box. So, I think if he can get past, he will be able to challenge. Maybe I'm not going to say challenge Kazizel, but I think he could be able to match Kazizel's pace and just pull away from these guys.
Yeah, we've got battles up and down the field happening as well. Messina, Lars Kramer and Baraka for the race lead, and this could get quite interesting. Lars is on the back of Messina. I don't think he's got the pace to try and get him down in towards turn 1, and the McLaren just hangs back, and in fact he's not using up any ERS to the left-hand side. And one thing that I actually noticed was when the deployment is actually empty, there is a little pop-up that actually says deployment empty on the ERS to the left-hand side. You see it with Dark Tuner, he's on 44% ERS, so he's got enough. Surface, by the way, is side-by-side with T-Hawk, down in towards turn 1, tries to get the move done. T-Hawk is not making it easy for him, and he stays ahead, but look at Black Box, down the inside line, and this is the ultimate box in effect, and Black Box is going to have this to good effect. Jonah picked up a 3-second time penalty, but I don't think he cares. T-Hawk is through, down the inside line. Black Box and Surface still side-by-side. We watch it from Jonah's perspective, he's just made a mistake. Black Box trying to get boxed in. Surface is on the inside line, and do you know what? There was a bit of contact there, and I think Surface was angry that T-Hawk had tried to go around the outside of him, but both AlphaTauris in through, and they put a car in front behind Jonah.
Exactly, both AlphaTauris pulling off the overtakes. Some amazing side-by-side action. I'm surprised that AlphaTauri did not take each other out, because they got close, very tight, very... Having just said that, Black Box getting very close to the rear end of Surface there.
Yeah, your dream nearly came true there, I think, with Black Box and Surface making a bit of contact. Goodness me, we don't want two AlphaTauris in the wall. That's not what we want. Of course, these guys are not teammates. I will reiterate that. These guys are not teammates. The teammates have not been decided for the full season. This is just pre-season, but this is a good indicator of what these guys have got in terms of pace. T-Hawk, by the way, is storming on the back of Black Box. He's not wanting to give up this at all to the inside line. Doesn't get the move done.
I think he didn't want to give up that pace, but Jonah, can he get a good run through turn 3? He is on pressure medium tyres. He washes out a bit wide. Will that allow him to get the pace? Will he dive it? No, he won't into turn 4. So I think...
I'm on board with Now and Macho. Sorry to cut in. I'm on board with Now and Macho, and Now has just produced one of the best one-to-one racecrafts I've ever seen. That was brilliant with Macho. Great fight coming through all the way through the first sector. Now on top.
Now is another guy I've raced with quite a lot, and he's one of the most respectful side-by-side racers I've raced with. He's able to position the car always perfectly.
Oh, it's Jonah! Jonah down the inside line of T-Hawk, trying to get the move done. T-Hawk not wanting to give up that. There was a bit of hand of rage, I think, from the German, but Jonah tries to go all the way around the outside of turn 12. You do not see moves like this very often. Jonah around the outside of turn 13. You don't see a move there too often. And now Postman tries to get on the act as well, but Jonah, once again, absolutely brilliant racecraft from both of them. T-Hawk gave a lot of respect there. and immediately Jonah tries to break the toe, but look at Boltzmann in behind on T-Hawk. Look at T-Hawk's closing speed as well on Jonah. This could end quite badly, but Boltzmann on the inside line, much later on the brakes, gets the move done, does he? T-Hawk is still there on the inside line. My camera angles are shocking, but Boltzmann down the inside line, on this contact, he catches the grass on the inside, and Boltzmann, to be honest, that was T-Hawk kind of moving across on Boltzmann, but Boltzmann got caught on the grass, and that's why he spun into T-Hawk, and that's exactly what happened there. 50-50 either way, to be honest, but nobody's fault. Racing incident.
I agree with that as well. Boltzmann also just came out of the pit lane on his hard tyres. I bet he was fuming in the cockpit.
Lars has just dive bombed T-Hawk down towards turn 7. Didn't even see that, and he's through and he's into P9, so everything is now beginning to happen, and T-Hawk is not happy with that. He's gone careering down the inside line, and I think Mr. T-Hawk might be quite angry with Lars' move there.
I think he's just clutching at straws right now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Lars pulling off a pretty cool, sick overtake actually. I think I just called the end of that. But Burrell into the pit lane now from those medium tyres. I think he will get onto a set of hard tyres, which is the smartest way I'd put it. But yes, a set of white hard tyres, sorry. So let's see. I think Lars and Messina. I think Messina just gets past Lars into turn 1. I think these two have been battling quite a bit before the pit stops, and Messina able to get ahead of Lars again.
Yeah, they can't get away from each other, these two. I saw them racing in PSGL on a Monday, and Messina and Lars were glued together then. And they're glued together again here in FRL, so it just comes to show, in terms of the pace, they're right there or thereabouts in terms of each other's pace, and it's good to watch and it's good to see, because they're both very, very good drivers as well. Now, by the way, is on the back of T-Hawk. Macho is going to be quite angry, I think, at this point. He's caught in a big wash behind T-Hawk, and then you've got Messina and Lars just ahead as well. T-Hawk, I think he should have pitted that lap because he was getting overtaken, and he's about to be. I thought he was going to be overtaken by Nawop, but he's not. But Nawop is going to get through.
I thought we were going to see a cheeky dive bomb from Nawop there, but opted to stay a bit behind. But I think it's a matter of time when Nawop gets past T-Hawk there.
Tries to look. I wonder if T-Hawk is going to come in. I think that's what Nawop might be actually hoping for. T-Hawk stays out. So more and more lap, but I think T-Hawk's going to be outgunned by both of them here. T-Hawk's out of DRS zone, and now Nawop is going to try and get the move done. Well, he's through, and now Macho is coming steaming on the outside line. Here comes the Mercedes around the outside of the Aston Martin, and unfortunately for T-Hawk, 2 positions for the price of 1. Buy 1, you get 1 free.
Exactly. Mercedes on Mercedes action there. The green Mercedes and the actual Mercedes going side by side into turn 1. But that was a very good overtake from Macho going around the outside there. I think it was just that tyre advantage that he has on T-Hawk.
Are the hards quicker than the mediums, by the way? Because Messina and Lars are on 2 and 1 lap old hards. Surface, yeah, he's losing time to Kazizel, and I can understand that. But Messina and Lars are getting away from Nawop. Are those hards quicker than that set of mediums in the mid-pack, but not Kazizel and Surface? Because Kazizel's still pulling time out on Surface.
I think as we get to that 8 or 9 lap period on those medium tyres, those hard tyres will start to get into that pace and start to be quicker than those medium tyres. I think the medium tyres will be able to hold their pace for a while, but as we get to those 8, 9, 10 laps, those hard tyres will start to creep in on that pace of those medium runners. Sorry.
Black Box is coming on the back of Surface. Is he going to try and look to the inside of turn 1? He's got the speed. He now looks to the outside line because the Greek man defends to the inside. Surface, the former LR man, against the IFR man of Black Box. The 2 AlphaTauris make side-by-side contact. Now through 3, and Black Box is through. Round the outside he goes. Surface, I wonder if he picked up a little bit of nick of damage maybe on the left side end plate, or certainly on the side pod. There was a little bit of contact going in towards turn 1. But Black Box leads into P4 he goes. Surface now P5. They've got to be careful though, because Jonah's 2.3 seconds behind. Yeah, he's being caught by Messina and Lars, but once Messina and Lars clear Jonah, and he's probably going to come into the pit lane sooner rather than later, Surface is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, Messina and Lars, amazing pace on those hard tyres, but yep, if Black Box and Surface do continue to fight out a bit, expect Messina, Jonah and Lars to catch up to them. I think Jonah may be a bit hot in the cockpit right now. He was struggling to get past both the AlphaTauris and that and the Aston Martin, sorry. So let's see how he goes on. But I do suspect a pit stop from Jonah very soon.
I just thought I mentioned, by the way, not only have we got more drivers than F2, we've also got more finishers at the minute. We've got 16 compared to 6 currently. Here's Messina on the back, though, of Jonah, gets through on the outside line, and that is one man clear. Watch out for Lars. He'll probably get him down in towards turn 10, and Jonah's in trouble here. He's on that set of mediums, but it just comes to show now, hards are probably better than mediums.
Yeah, Jonah, I think, got a bit squirrely in the exit of turn 2 as well as they climb up the hill to turn 3. So it might be a bad time when Lars gets past Jonah. Could send one into after the turn 10 on that straight as we're approaching right now. So could see a sneaky overtake from Lars there. He can get right underneath that gearbox of Jonah.
I don't think he's going to have enough.
Yeah,
DRS enabled.
Yeah, I think Jonah's just got that a bit of a cushion with that DRS on Cena. Oh, Jonah going a bit sneaky.
Oh, look at Lars down the inside line, tries to get the move done. I wish the camera angle would do me justice. Down the inside line he goes, and that's the mistake he would have wanted. Lars is through, and he's into 7th position. Jonah, I think, is going to be kicking himself with that, to be honest. It was an easy error to avoid. Lars is through and he's into 7th. Jensen, by the way, is down into 3rd because Kazizel's just got through on him. Surface trying to attack Black Box down in towards turn 1. Now, by the way, on 11 lap all mediums into the pit lane, and he's going set of mediums 14 laps to the end.
Yes, so I expect some medium runners to hop in in the next 2-3 laps, maybe within the next 3 laps. But yeah, it was a matter of time for Lars to overtake Jonah, so I think Jonah is struggling. He did get a bit squirrely on the edge of the chicane as he approached the start-finish straight, so I think Jonah is struggling on his medium tyres now.
And Macho is probably flexing his muscles at this stage. That's a terrible pun. Don't at me for that one. Macho's on the back of Jonah for P8 and P9. Red Bull against Mercedes, and Jonah picks up another 3-second penalty. He's just got to be careful. Doesn't want to overrun the curbs too much because I think he's already got 6 or 9 seconds worth of penalties. It's 6 seconds worth of penalties he's got, and there are the penalty rundowns for you. Kazizel on 3 seconds, as well as Dark Tuner, Burrell, Brock, T-Hawk and Bunty. They're all on 3 seconds. 6 seconds for Jonah and Macho. 9 seconds for Boltzmann. Not repeating a last to first like he did last week in Bahrain.
Ooh,
he's probably been found out, and Black Box has made a mistake.
He had a bit of a snap. He had a big snap of oversteer at the exit of the chicane. But he does go into the box now, so I think those medium tyres were on their last legs.
Oh, Macho's just gone into the back of Jonah, and Jonah's got a 5-second penalty for spinning into the pit lane. I don't think Macho's got a 5-second penalty for hitting them, but there was certainly a little bit of contact, I think, between them both. Luckily for Macho, no from wing damage. Jonah's not going to be happy with that. He'll probably get that appealed, I think. And Jonah does not deserve that 5-second penalty as Brock has spun. Oh, Bunty, sorry, had spun. Coming through turn number 8.
No, and now just gets ahead. Oh, is he going to overtake his teammate? Jonah.
Brilliant.
Jonah and now we both race both of them do race the URL with me, and these two are some of the quickest drivers we have. So both in the Red Bull, but yeah, now sweeping around the outside. But can I just add one thing? It's not the first time we've seen a Mercedes and Red Bull collide, have we, in 2021? And,
it really isn't. It really isn't. Silverstone, you were mentioning you were at Silverstone as well for the incident, the famous incident that might have cost Verstappen maybe the championship, but goodness knows how this could all unfold. Baraka, by the way, 20 laps on that set of hard. He's coming in for that set of mediums, so that strategy that I said might work. He's going to do. So he's onto a set of mediums, and he's going to come out. I tell you what, maybe in between Messina and Lars here.
And could we see Jensen going into a bit of a hammer time mode, let's say? Because he's on the hard tires.
Baraka sent it down the inside line. That was not needed whatsoever. He could have just backed off and let Lars have the position, but Baraka, I think, got too greedy, if I've got to be honest. Coming out the pit lane, there was a race towards turn 1 between them both. They were going to be side by side. Baraka has then sent it, missed his braking point on the brakes, and now he's down in P6 and he's behind Lars in what could have been a really good battle.
Throwing away that good hard work that he put in that first stint, so shame to see that for him, but let's see if I think Jensen will pit in a lap or two's time and put his medium tyres on. He's in a pretty good position right now. So let's see how that goes. But yeah, a shame for Baraka throwing away that good work that he did in his first stint.
Yeah, it was just not needed. The contact down and towards turn one. You don't race a car that has got so much less speed as Kazizel, by the way, is in from the lead of the race. So Kazizel shocks us. He's into the pit lane from the lead of the race. So he's managed 13 laps on that set of medium compound tyre. Now Open Pulseman are on the same strategy further down the field. Baraka's got a lap pressure tyres compared to Black Box, but Kazizel into the pit lane, and now this is going to be Kazizel's time to shine. He is out of the pit lane, he's ahead of Baraka, and Baraka is not going to be too disheartened, I think, with that. As long as he picks up the pace, Baraka could still get something out of this because he's got fresher tyres.
Yep, and Kazizel on those medium tyres, let's see how...
Sorry to cut in, Barella Dark Tuner. It is coming through turn 1 and 2, and they're side by side still, the McLaren and the Alpine. And look at the Alpine, he switches now to the inside line. Dark Tuner, though, fights back that position he's through, and he's into 7th still.
Those movements going into turn 4 gave me a bit of a flashback to 2016 Spain there, but keeping it clean between these two drivers, which is nice to see. But yeah, I think Burrell, he's got quite a bit of pace in the Alpine. Oh, as he span it, so Burrell spinning it and then also resetting to the track.
Oh,
so, and he just about, Black Box just about managed to get ahead. I think Burrell had to ghost there when he reset to track, otherwise we would have seen a
massive crash into the wall. It's Jonah into the wall. He lost it on the exit of turn 9. That has got to be a guaranteed safety car. Surely, there's got to be a safety car for that. That was a horrific crash into the wall. Probably at about 150 miles an hour that was. He's out of the race. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2 still because of that. Oh, it's cleared. So, the VSC, I don't know why the VSC was spawned earlier on, but how is that? If the safety car's on, how is that not a safety car?
Yeah, so I think that VSC was a glitch because I'm sure I put the safety car off, and that's how potentially why we didn't get a safety car here. But yeah, that was a massive crash. Bits of Red Bull flying everywhere. The exit of turn 10. Exit of turn 9, sorry.
Yeah, exit of turn 9, always a killer in terms of the cars out on track, and that curb especially. I mean, on board with Lars and Messina, they managed it very well. But that was a hard hit into the wall, and Jonah obviously going to be very disappointed, I think. Obviously, with his spin earlier on as well, and getting caught up in a couple of incidents, but Jonah will be hoping that he can try and recover that in time for the first race of the season in 2 weeks' time. Lars and Messina, by the way, Surface is 8.1 seconds behind Jensen. He is in the lead of this race. Kazizel has got it all to do in behind. He's 5.9 seconds behind on Lars. Yeah, he's got the pace and he's got the tyres, but that is an awfully big gap to catch. It's something like 8 or 9 seconds to catch with, what, 9-10 laps to go?
Yeah, he's going to have to pull in a second lap. Jensen still hasn't boxed from medium tyres, so I think he's stretching out as long as he can. So I'm not sure where he's going to feed out when he does box. But behind, Lars tucking in behind Messina. I think they were having a slight battle into turn 1 and 2, but Lars not coming out on top there. But Tio getting a 3-second time penalty, so I think some of the penalties are starting to rack in a bit more now. Maybe a bit of fatigue from these drivers, losing a bit of concentration. But yeah.
Yeah, it's an important thing to come on about, I think, fatigue. These guys have been racing for what, I would say, half an hour, 40 minutes in between that, I would think, at this point. And that really does take an effect on the mentality of these guys out on track, and it's just keeping about the consistency. We see drivers all the time in any league that I've commentated on. They're good in qualifying, it doesn't transition to the race. It works the separate way as well. In the race, they're brilliant. In qualifying, not so. And that is, I think, what we've seen tonight, maybe with Messina and Lars. They've gained positions purely off the field going around them, basically. But Lars and Messina have been embroiled in this own battle for, I would say, the whole race. They've been stuck together like glue. They cannot get rid of each other.
Exactly, showing how good their racecraft is. It's good to be quick on one lap, but can you apply that pace lap after lap after lap? Especially on a track like Spain, where it's a lot about thinking through these corners. The curves can catch you out, and there's a lot of high speed and low speed corners that you have to really concentrate. So yeah, as you said, it's important to see, can we differentiate between those guys that can get the points in, or those guys that just can do the performance on one lap?
Yeah, and I think that's why Messina and Lars are probably so good at what they do. They've been literally stuck together like glue, and yet they're still not catching Surface, which is really strange. Surface is obviously pulling in a gap. Jensen, he's not going to try the impossible, is he?
Well, he did. I think he did start on those hard tyres. No, he actually did. He box on lap 1. I'm not sure.
Box lap 1.
Box lap 1. So he could try it. I won't put it past Jensen.
Oh no,
he has done.
He hasn't. He hasn't been into the pit lane. I've just checked. He hasn't been into the pit lane.
So yeah, he will have to pit, otherwise he will get disqualified from the race. But I think maybe he's pushing for the soft tyres at the end. He's got to the point where the soft tyres could be put on. We saw on the first stint on heavy fuel they were doing around 8 laps max. So I don't put it past him going on the soft tyres on lower fuel.
Yeah, I did say about lap 25, 26, so it's not too far off. And there, again, one of my predictions that I've made. Burrell, by the way, right on the back of Now, further down the field, Burrell picks up a penalty for just overshooting turn 1 and 2. But look at Macho on the back. He is trying to outgun him down in towards turn 4. He's got the speed as Macho looks to the inside line. Half-committed move, but is he going to get him in towards turn 5, maybe? Using up that ERS once again. Just for a pinpoint for Macho as he tries to get the move done. He's got to be careful on his ERS. He doesn't want to deploy his ERS at every single corner exit. So that's something that I think he's probably going to have to work on and probably take on board with something that we say. It's just something that I'm pointing out. And now, actually, look at this. He's now going to get through on Burrell. As soon as I've said that, Macho is through on Burrell. Burrell ran out wide. Macho's through and he's into P10 on much fresher tyres.
Yeah, amazing run through turn 9. Just getting that slingshot and then deploying ERS and having that DRS advantage and just slipping by. Good racing between the two, because I think Burrell left a good enough space into that braking zone just before the braking zone as well.
Yeah, I honestly think the driving standards here have been better than in Bahrain last week, which is absolutely great, and it sets us really, really well, I think, for the season coming forward in FRL F1. We've obviously had Jonah, Rocco, Denzel, DNF out the race. Luckily, we're not on F2 and with a very limited attendance, and luckily with a limited DNFs as well. We've only had 3 here tonight in FRL F1, but it just comes to show these guys are the pinnacle of FRL, and they'll be hoping to try and get some really good results within them. Jensen's still yet to pit, by the way, out in front. If Jensen's listening, and he normally does to the stream, if he pits in now, he's behind Baraka on a fresh set of softs, and he'll attack him and maybe even get Kazizel with him.
Yeah, I think he could actually challenge for a good P3 maybe.
He's in!
As he goes into the box. So,
he's in! He must have been listening, surely.
Yeah, surely.
He's into the pits, and he puts on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and where's he going to come out? This Mercedes pit garage is quite far up. He's going to be behind Baraka very easily indeed, and he's going to be well ahead of Dark Tuna. That, by the way, is T-Hall coming into the pit lane, responding to Jensen coming in. So Jensen out of the pit lane in P6. He's got a bit of a mountain to climb, but in clear air, on a fresh set of softs, what can he do?
Yeah, so keep an eye on him. Expect him to go fastest laps as well. Bit of a hammer time for him now in that Mercedes.
Oh, Macho and Burrell having a fight down in towards turn 1. Burrell's got the move done back on Macho. Macho's got to try and send this around the outside through 3. Doesn't get the move done. It's so difficult. That's the tyres going off. Macho, I thought he was going to send it down the inside line then. I thought there was going to be contact, but there's not. Burrell still in P10. In P11 as Macho, there's a yellow flag, and I think that was T-Hawk getting out the way of the leaders, if I'm not mistaken. Surface leads, Messina second, Lost Kramer third.
Yep, blue flag from T-Hawk. But up ahead, Messina and Lars catching up to the back of Surface now, so the battle for the lead. All on hard tyres. Surface, all
Kazizel nearly spun! Sorry to cut in. Kazizel nearly had a right old moment coming out of 13, caught and nicked the curb on the inside. He was catching Lars and Messina over that as well. Entering that 29, he's got a chance to still do this, but if he makes a little mistake like that, it's going to be in the hard runner's favour.
Exactly. Kazizel just neutralising a bit of his chances, of his pace, but I'm sure he'll get to the back of these drivers now. As stuck in a bit of dirty air now. top
Yeah.
three.
Yeah, because Izzle's still in relatively clear air. The wash effect doesn't really happen until you're within a second of the car ahead or behind. Macho, by the way, and Barella still having this battle. Down for 10th position, the final point scoring position here out on track. And Macho is through on Barella. These guys have been fighting, I would say, the last, what, 6-7 laps maybe? And Macho is through and he's into 10th position. They're yo-yo affecting and chopping and changing 10th position at this stage. Reminder of the penalties, by the way, but just before we get to the end of the race. Macho's on 15 seconds worth of penalties, the most of anyone. Boltzmann's on 12. Everyone else either on 3 or 6. Lars, Kazizel, Doc Tuna, Nawalp and Brock all on 3 seconds. 6 seconds for Burrell, Bunty and T-Hawk. So there's your penalties update. Probably before the end of the race. I don't think much of that will change. Doc Tuna, by the way, under pressure from Black Box in behind. And what could have it been for Black Box if he didn't get caught up in a spin with his own teammate?
Exactly, I would have expected Black Box to be up there, obviously fighting for that win because he was right next to his teammate. But just to go back to Macho, fighting for that wooden spoon, but with 15 seconds of penalties, maybe that fight is a bit futile for him. But yeah, interesting to see 15 seconds worth of penalties around this track. It's a lot.
It is a lot, and I'll just throw this out there now for a fun fact in former FRL history. Widelow Billy was a former driver here, and he managed to get disqualified around here in Spain for picking up, get this, 36 seconds worth of penalties.
I've seen a few drivers get disqualified, but not 36 worth of penalties. 36 seconds worth of penalties, disqualified for something else, but yeah, amazing. 36 seconds. Crazy.
Billy, if you're listening, I sincerely apologise for mentioning that fact. Black Box on the back of Dark Tudor. This is for 7th and 8th position, but we have got 3 more laps to go. Surface leads the way. Messina in 2nd, Lars in 3rd. Kazizel is not really drawing any closer. I think Kazizel might be settled in for 4th here. Lars and Messina are about to get going, and now Lars attacks onto the back of Messina, but he's got to be wary of that ERS. He's got 10% of ERS down in towards turn 1. Messina's not looking any better. He's on 8%, Surface on 7%, Kazizel's on 27%. Use it up, man!
McLaren has a good ERS advantage on the top 2. I think he's just biding his time a bit because he's been stuck behind Messina's gearbox for quite a few laps now, and I think he's just going to start mounting an attack on his last 2-3 laps in the race. So let's see if he can get close, but Messina crucially has nicked into that under 1 second off surface up ahead, and I'm not sure if he's going to get DRS now, but he has been teetering on that edge for the last lap or 2. So I think Messina could use a bit of that DRS just to help him defend from Lars. Oh, having said that, Messina half spins.
Lars are going to try and get this around the outside. He'll switch it back on the inner, but Messina is very, very lucky here. But he's brought Lars back with him. Lars was too, I would say, cautious in not trying to get that move done. And look, he's just caught the curb, and he's now still within DRS of Messina. But Messina, crucially, is out of DRS to Surface. Surface, that might have been the mistake that wins the race for Surface.
And we're seeing it now as they're getting into the braking zone. Amazing. Ooh.
Oh, Macho's retired. Macho's out of the race, coming through turn 12 and 13. And that's on the inside, very similarly to, I think it was Charlie last night in F3. No, it wasn't Charlie in F3. It was somebody in F3 last night had actually went off there. It might have been Ruben. And he was right on the inside of the apex. Basically on the wall.
Yeah, one of the stranger places I'd say to crash out. But he can happen. I think he just got caught on the curb. The curbs in the last sector are brutal, so a shame for him. Fighting for P10 as we were saying earlier, but and it's annoying the last 2 laps of the race.
No, but Doc Tuna, I've just come on board with this battle because they're fighting, and they're still side by side. They were side by side pretty much through the first sector. Now and Dark Tuna are putting on a right show here. Tries to go all the way around the outside of turn 9. Dark Tuna hangs him out to dry, and now is still there, and they're still side by side. How on earth are they still side by side? Dark Tuna on the outside line. We're on to the final lap of the race, by the way. Surface who leads Lars, Kramer in 2nd, Messina in 3rd, but they're still side by side, and now uses experience to good effect, gets the move done on Dark Tuna. What a fight that was!
Yeah, amazing fighting. I was racing with Nawalp yesterday around Bahrain, and he was having a bit of a tough time here. But today, showing amazing side-by-side battles. As well, I don't think it's going to end here. I think Dark Tune is in that slipstream now, trying to mount an overtake into turn 1. Let's see if that McLaren can get by. Will he send it? Yes, he will. Side-by-side into turn 1 and 2.
It's late and a bit aggressive, to be honest, but he's still side-by-side with him, and he gets the move done. Down the inside of turn 3, hangs nowhere out to drive, but now up now is going to be hoping that he has got a little bit of pace to try and send this all the way around the outside of turn 4. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, and it's Bunty who I think has spun in the second sector. Still fighting though, these guys. Lars, by the way, is right on the back of Surface for the race lead. What on earth has happened to Surface? He was a second clear, and now Lars is right on the back of him. The Greek man under pressure from the back of Lars Kramer, the Dutchman, trying to put him under sustained pressure through 13, now through 14, 15 and 16. But Lars, I don't think is going to get this through the final corner. Doc Tuner is out the race, may have had a bit of collision with Nawal. Cross the line though, Surface wins in Spain. Lars in second, but it's Messina who finishes in second. Lars is in third. Kazizel drops down to fifth. Baraka recovers after that spin. He finishes in fourth. Kazizel in fifth. Jensen in sixth. Black Box in seventh. Did you see what happened with Doc Tuner and Nawal?
They were going side by side, and I think I cut away because of the battle up ahead. I think Dark Tuner lost it on the exit of turn 9. I'm not 100% sure, but he did retire halfway through that straight, so I think there must have been a bit of argy-bargy between the two. But I sadly did miss that battle.
Yeah, either argy-bargy or probably just a loss on the exit of the outside curb, I would probably say. But it is Black Box 7th, now up 8th, Farrell 9th, Brock in 10th, Boastman 11th. Both Aston Martins going side by side, coming across the line there. I think Bunty might have nicked it over T-Hawk, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see that. But, drive of the day, what about the in-game fans? Burrell, probably right from the back of the field.
Yeah, good work from him. It was a bit of a tough race, I think. But he did manage to fight his way up, which is nice to see. But yeah, I mean, my star of the day, I think, was Messina. I think he qualified P10, was it, and just had that consistency throughout the race, and now he's just clinched a P2, which is nice to see as well.
Yeah, it is.
And did not get any penalties as well. That's another main thing as well.
Yeah, it's very nice to see. Surface, though, takes the win here in Spain. The FRL Season 8 champion in F1 is back. And is he back on top of his throne? We'll have to wait and see in 2 weeks' time. But it is Surface who takes the win out on track. Messina in second. As you rightfully say, the Finn drove a really great race in second to be 9/10 off the back of Surface as well. Very good effort from him. Lars Kramer in third with Baraka in fourth. Kazizel in fifth. Really unsure what he decided to do with that strategy, but it just comes to show top 4 on a one-stop strategy works. So Kazizel, if you're listening, one-stop strategy, that cost you. Jensen finishes in P6, Black Box in 7th, now up and 8th, Burrell from 18th on the grid, so right from the back into 9th, Brock in 10th, Boastman fastest lap of the race, so he picks up the extra point in 11th, Doc Tuner, T-Hawk and Bunty. Doc Tuner gets classified in the results, finishing 12th, T-Hawk and Bunty will lap down, they get classified 13th and 14th, Macho also classified in 15th after crashing, Jonah, Rocco and Denzel, the 3 DNFs out on track, but it's Surface out on top, Messina second, Lars Kramer in third, and I think we should transition into the interviews party.
Yeah, let's do that. It was amazing race, so let's see what some of these drivers have to say for that.
It'll be really interesting to see. I am going to go blue screen, and I'll set up that party if nobody beats me to the punch, and I will see you there. Just getting into the party now. View of the parties. Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave this one and set it up, aren't I? Duh. I'll see you there though. And there we are. So party. And hopefully everyone has got something to say in terms of their performance out on track and in terms of how they found that race as well. And hopefully we'll hear maybe from the winner Surface, maybe from a few of the guys towards the top end of the field as well. But a fantastic race nonetheless. I've got to agree with Nick, by the way. My driver of the day, Messina, really great drive from 10th on the grid. Very secretly came through the field, majorly underdogged here tonight, and he was fighting with Lars Kramer throughout that race. But a very good race from his perspective, and he gets
Someone forgot to turn off the safety car.
John driver of the day. Yeah, somebody did forget to take off the safety car, but with Jonas' crash, I don't know what happened.
I was hoping for a safety.
Very strange. I'm not sure. Do you know what? I'll get it up on the lobby settings now. Lobby options. Actually, no. Give me a sec. I'll just try and find the right settings. I'll prove to you. But the safety car was on reduced.
Okay, so I think I may have nicked it because I did check it 4 times before we started. So maybe on that last one I did nick it to change it.
That's okay.
Mate, I was so hoping for a safety car when Jonah crashed.
Yeah,
Mate,
that's
those
just the
parts
picks from the league then.
was
That's okay.
insane.
But we'll get to our interviews, certainly of the guys that are in the party, and I believe it is Kazizzle first, if I'm not mistaken. Jensen, did you finish ahead of him?
No, Kazizzle finished 4th. No.
Kazizzle finishing 4th, out on track. Obviously a really good race from your perspective, but that strategy, pitting in for an extra stop, cost you.
Yeah, 100%. I went from doing that quali lap, which was like, I think it was 14.2, which was like really good. And then I just didn't know soft to hard was even possible, or if it was that good, so I was just caught out, because the hard's pace, even at the end of their stint, was just insane. I was like, there's not much I can do, because I was pushing the whole way, but just even when those brand new mediums, I just didn't have the pace to be able to catch the guys on hards.
Yeah, you said you didn't have the pace. It was around, what, 2.3 seconds, I think, in and around that average time towards the end of the race, the final 4 laps or so. Talk us through that, though, because you were caught in the wash for quite a way there, and you dominated the race. That strategy call, though, cost you entirely, but P4 still must be a very good result from your perspective.
Yeah, 100%. I could just build from it, you know, because it's at the end of the day, it's only pre-season, and I'm just learning from it at the moment. So now I know how powerful soft to hard, or whatever the strategy is at the moment. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing because I obviously had the pace to win, I think, but we could just learn from the experience and then we move on.
Yeah, definitely move on. Of course, Bahrain in 2 weeks' time as well, and hopefully we'll see you there as well. But Nick, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions for Kazizzle?
I mean, I think he's pretty much answered everything. But yeah, it was just an amazing quali lap. Did you surprise yourself with that quali lap? Because it was 2 1/4 tenths.
To be honest, I knew I could do that lap. Like, I had the confidence going into quali that I could do a good lap. So, I mean, it was a little bit shocking when I saw it was a 14.2 because I didn't feel like it was that great of a lap. But
yeah.
Obviously, it's a good surprise to have a lap like that.
I think I was going to say in qualifying, I think we wanted to look at that quality lap because it was an absolute stonker of a lap. But yeah, congratulations on the pole position.
Cheers, mate.
Unlucky in the race, but yeah, as you said, this is what the pre-season races are for. Understanding that strategy and then applying it, hopefully in the season or whatever. But yeah, good work today though, mate.
Cheers.
Yeah, my final question to you, Kazizzle, is what will you learn from these 2 pre-season races in Bahrain and Spain going into Bahrain for the first round of the season in 2 weeks' time?
To be honest, the grid's actually looking pretty competitive, to be fair. So I feel like I've just learned that I've got to take advantage of like every situation that occurs. And obviously I've learned a bit about strategy as well, and how most of the time it doesn't look like 2 stops are that great this year. At least at Spain, we can't judge it for every track, but yeah, I'm just constantly learning at the moment.
Constantly learning. I'm sure we will see you on the top step of the podium sooner rather than later, I'm sure, here within FRL F1. Go and enjoy your evening, though.
Cheers. See you guys later.
Very welcome indeed, and we'll now move on to Surface, who has managed to join us in the party. And Surface, obviously the beneficiary of Kazizzle's 2-stop strategy. You won the race out on track. Talk us through it. You disappointed me in qualifying because if you watch this back, I predicted you for pole position, and I was gutted when Kazizel came in with that 114.2. It must have been disheartening from your perspective, but you put it to one side and you drove a really, really astute race. With that early VSC as well, you were attacking Kazizel down in towards turn 1. Did you feel that he was defending a little bit too hard and he moved across a couple of times? I'm glad it didn't offend you, and it made for a really good battle, obviously, with the VSE taking away lap 1 of the race. It was a really great drive from you. Nick, any questions for Surface?
Not really. To be honest, I was just going to ask, we talked about mental fatigue in the race. Was that race demanding on you, Surface? I know that Spain is a pretty demanding track on the tyres and physically, in terms of the car, but was it mentally fatiguing for you, especially fighting for that win? Good work, mate. It was a good race from your side as well. But yeah.
Yeah, and I saw you mention in the Discord, Surface 79% tyres at the end of the race. Yeah, obviously we saw your pace in Bahrain as well in pre-season. How do you take a performance like this, obviously winning here in Spain, to 2 weeks' time in Bahrain, where, of course, you set pole position just a week ago? Well, if that race setup improves you to about 0.5 of a second ahead of the rest of the field, I will not be surprised whatsoever going in towards Bahrain. But go and enjoy your evening. Very welcome indeed. And we'll now move on to Jensen. Jensen, I think you managed P6 in the end. Obviously not the race that you were wanting, but an improved performance from last week in Bahrain. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was never going to be there in quali pace anyway, so I was aiming to try and get like higher up the bottom 10 places, so near enough P11, but I think I was P13 in qualifying, so I mean it was either the top 10 on the mediums or there to go for a hard start. It was the latter that I went for, and yeah, the race was pretty good. I mean, Dart Tuna held me back a bit, may have lost quite definitely at least probably like 4 seconds battling him, and yeah, unlike Surface, who got towards 79% on his tyres, I don't know what lap he pitted, but I was only in the mid 50s when I pitted on lap 27, so yeah, I don't know, the tyres felt really good. I mean, I pushed on them, they were never getting too much wear, they were never giving out, and if I had the chance to go all the way to the end of the race without getting disqualified, without pitting, I would have, because those felt great. But yeah, in the end the softs didn't work out on the final stint. I think I should have really pitted when Cases all pitted, and maybe could have got P4 or P3 if I got close enough to Lars. But yeah, I mean, it's still good information for the start of the season, and yeah, hopefully carry the pace onto that.
Yeah, me and Nick were saying in commentary, by the way, that you could try and do the impossible strategy, and then we clicked on that you hadn't made your pit stop yet, and I was thinking, yeah, he might actually win this race without pitting, so it was a bit of a shame that he had to make that pit stop, but obviously you finished behind Baraka, and Baraka got caught up in his own incident as well. Finishing behind him, did you feel like you had the pace later on to try and challenge him, or was that not there?
If I went mediums, for sure, but I mean, it's pre-season anyway, it's just trialing everything, and I gathered today harder tyres work to treat, and the soft tyres, they burn up quite quickly and you can't push them any much more after a couple of laps, so I mean, yeah. If I went mediums, for sure, but yeah, soft, of course. Well, there's a few positions down, so
yeah, obviously the soft strategy really didn't work out, and I know for a fact you'll probably go mediums again. But final question from me before I move on to Nick. In terms of, were you listening to the stream on lap 27? Because I literally said you're going to come out behind Baraka if you pitted in this lap, and then no sooner than you did, it was about 10 seconds later you came into the pit lane.
Yeah, well, I tried going as long as possible, because I knew like the softs weren't gonna last. The pace wasn't gonna last in them, so I tried going late as possible, but the late push didn't work. I mean, because Izzy was getting mid-16s on his medium tyre, which I felt once I was in my like third or fourth lap when I was putting in like high 16s. I felt, yeah, definitely the right tyre to go for. That would have been. But yeah, I mean, come the races this season, though, Bahrain and Spain, I know what to do for both of those now. I know I'm probably going to be a bit of a boast man who doesn't do much for the quali and goes full on the race, because I feel my race pace is better than the quali, so yeah.
I wonder if that's a last to first challenge I hear going into the first round of the season in 2 weeks' time in Bahrain. Nick, any questions for Jensen?
I mean, I know Jensen's pace is very good. Is there anything you're struggling on with this game, adapting from the previous game? Because I know towards the end of the last game you were pushing the limit in terms of like time trial times, whatever. So, is it just trying to find what you found on F1 2020 and transferring it into this new game? Because I know the handling has changed a bit. Is that just finding that pace? I mean, you have very good pace right now on this game. Is it just trying to find that bit extra, that next level on this game?
Well, quality pace on this game I've probably fallen off a bit compared to the last game, but the race pace I feel the best I could be in the race pace at the moment. It feels great in the race. It's just where I'm positioned in the race that's where I'm probably losing out. But when I'm by myself lapping, I'll be able to keep up the leaders.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't pass you. I think you would. I think you're even able to do a one-stop around Bahrain. So your tyre management, your race management is absolutely bang on, I think. So yeah, good work today, mate. That drive was pretty good.
I mean, I'm like James said, I'm ashamed I had to pit, but we have to pit anyway. I mean, if we were allowed to pit, I would. If we weren't didn't have to pit, I would have carried on, because I think they would only reach about 70% by the end of the race. Like, yeah, full race on the hards, and they don't even reach puncture territory. So, I mean, yeah, that's the place I'm in right now. So, yeah.
But yeah, anyway, mate, good job today, and I think James, enjoy your evening, and yeah, good work.
Yeah, final question from me before you go, Jensen. Bahrain, 2 weeks' time. How do you think you're going to get on?
Bahrain ain't my greatest track. I mean, like I said, it would be more in the race pace than the quality pace, and consider the tyre strategies around Bahrain, which is pretty much like the alternate strategy seem to be a big one, because it's soft to hard for the leaders mainly, but yeah, I think I'll do well, and I think the first few races I'll start to pick up points, and when I get better, because I'm learning no ABS still, or completely no assists, so over time I'll get quicker, for sure. And hopefully put in the results.
Yeah, and it'll be really good to see, obviously, that progression from pre-season going into the first round of the season in Bahrain. But go and enjoy your evening, Jensen.
Yeah, cheers, thanks for you and Nick commentating as well.
You are very welcome indeed. We'll now move on to the man who got bragging rights over the Aston Martins as they came side by side, crossing the line. It is Mr. T-Hawk, obviously finishing in P13, down obviously just ahead of Bunty. But a relatively okay-ish race, I would say, from your perspective, T-Hawk. Talk us through it.
Pretty horrific, I would call it. Yeah, I don't know. It was just... I probably didn't have the best setup again, you know, didn't have much practice as I was occupied. Just didn't get used to the car yet, didn't get used to the setup yet, and my concentration just wasn't really there. Spinning out on quality when I tried to come into the pits because I forgot to put on the correct tires. In the race making 2 mistakes. Probably going for the mediums wasn't the best idea either after what happened in Bahrain, where I've seen that the mediums are quite understeery. So I now feel like I wasn't totally there today. Luckily I was kind of there whenever there were some cars around, so at least I didn't kill anyone. Yeah, I guess I think there are some positives to go away. I've learned some things. I've learned that I suck at this game still, because I haven't found out, you know, how the setup philosophy is and all of that. But I just have to get used to it, I guess, and find my way.
Yeah, I think everyone's in the same boat still as coming to learning the game and obviously learning assist, as Jensen mentioned. Talk us through like the midpoint of the race though, because we saw you in a few battles and getting swamped completely by all the guys in a set of mediums.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to do at this point. Like, should I just drive to the side and accept that I'm not gonna have any wheel-to-wheel battles throughout the race, or should I at least try to make it interesting and find out how those drivers are in terms of, you know, wheel-to-wheel racing? So I chose the latter. I still managed to have some nice battles. If I think about, I think it was Iona in one of the Red Bulls and the 2 Alpha Tauris. What else? Almost killing Lars Kramer because I went way too deep into turn 10. So we had some pretty nice battles, plenty of respect given, plenty of room given, which I appreciate a lot. I think in some lower categories, maybe where the drivers are less aware, they would just assume, okay, the guy had his own old tires, he's just gonna let me buy. So yeah, great to see that those guys are willing to give you the room, even if they know that they are faster, because they still show respect on track and don't try to ruin your race. So that was really, really nice, those 2 or 3 laps of actual racing that I had.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment, to be honest, and I've got to say, well done to everyone in terms of the racecraft. A really, really great race in terms of racecraft. It certainly had me and Nick on our high haunches, keeping us on top of the action, which was fantastic, and I just echo those sentiments completely. Talk us through that battle, though, with Lars Kramer, because obviously you mentioned that you totally messed up down in towards turn 10. Just before that though, just rewinding it back, turn 7 and 8, did he dive bomb you down the inside and towards turn 7?
Oh god, you're asking me questions. I think he did, yeah. He just made a sneaky overtake down towards turn 7, which I didn't expect. Like, I knew that he was there, and I was just thinking, nah, surely he's not gonna risk it and go down the inside. Okay, never mind. He is gonna do that. So yeah, he did that. So I tried to do the same, and yeah, turns out when you're on old tires, that doesn't work that well.
I thought you were going to go onto the rallycross track by how far you actually messed up on the brakes. I thought you were going to turn into a Citroen C4 or something on the rallycross.
halfway into the corner, when I was alongside him, I noticed, okay, I'm not going to make that corner, so I'm just going to speed up, so I don't accidentally take him out.
Yeah.
So like halfway past, I just floored it to get out of his way as quickly as possible. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it came at a cost, obviously, but I think it's the right thing to do in that situation. You've got to maybe speed up, just let drivers through that unnecessarily quicker, and just avoid any unnecessary contact, and don't get reported to the stewards, because that's what we're all about here, of course, in FRL. Nick, I'm so sorry, I'm just waffling on. Any questions?
Nothing really. To be honest, I was going to ask, when he was going down into turn 10 on that braking zone, when did he know that he was going to make a corner? But he answered that already, which was okay, but that's fine. But yeah, no, I have no questions towards him. But yeah, good racing there, mate, because I knew that there were quite a lot of cars like around you, and you managed the race pretty well there. So yeah, good work there.
Yeah, at least that's something that I have figured out on this game. If it isn't raw pace, at least I still know how to give space to others.
Yeah.
It's still a learning experience, I think, for everyone, but obviously going in towards Bahrain, how do you think you're going to get on in amongst this utterly great field that we've got in FRL F1?
Well, that depends on if I can race there, given that I am still just a reserve, but I think the attendance should be poor enough, hopefully, for my case, that I can race. I know I think it's going to be difficult for me, but then again, it's going to be difficult for for most of the other guys. You know, because like guys like Jensen, for example, who has turned off all of assists, like it's going to be a learning curve for a lot of guys. Sure, there are some guys that are using some shortcuts to do that, but for most of us, it's just going to be a learning curve. So I guess we're all going to struggle. And I think Bahrain is just going to be about who can maximize the time in the 2 weeks in between the most in order to make the most gains. So I don't know, if everybody works hard, then I see no reason why it shouldn't be as competitive as it was in the last 2 or 3 pre-season races.
Yeah, I echo that completely. I think if everyone's on the same limit and on the same pace, it's going to make for a really fantastic season, I think, in FRL F1. But go and enjoy your evening, T-Hawk.
Thank you. And of course, for everybody watching, don't forget to tune in at 10 PM? 10:30? 10 PM?
It's either 10 or 11, I think.
We agreed on 10 PM, didn't we, Bunty?
Yep.
Okay, don't forget to tune in on 10 PM to hear what tier you're gonna be in. Of course, if you're no driver, still tune in to know who you can cheer for in the upcoming season.
That's definitely the most professional plug I think I've ever heard on an FRL stream, for sure. That was well tuned in. That was fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for flattery. I'm gonna give you the £10 later. I do this for free, so it's all fine. It is absolutely all fine. Bunty, we're going to move on to you, of course. You came side by side, obviously on the receiving end of T-Hawk through the final corner, and obviously finished off behind him. Talk us through your race, because you spun quite a lot out there.
Yeah, a little bit too much. I mean, I was just pleased to be there, to be honest. It sounds all corny, but being there back out with T-Hawk as teammates after winning Constructors in F2 is quite nice. And then Aston Martin felt a bit weird. I don't think I've driven a car the whole game, but yeah, my race was pretty much over in about 3 seconds. I mean, I got a really good start ahead of Jensen on the hards, naturally being on the mediums, and I think it might have been Denzo who's ahead of me, possibly. And I got almost too good of a start. I was trying to go in between them, but just couldn't really make the space, and I hit Denzo and got amber wing damage. And yeah, you get any damage on this game and it's really tough, especially at Spain. So had to box, and from there it was just kind of playing catch up.
Yeah, and you talk about that damage. I honestly thought Denzel didn't move off the start. That's what it seemed like to me from the stream's angle. But you say you were trying to go basically sandwich like between 2 cars down in towards turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was enough space, but obviously my reactions weren't fast enough, clearly. But I mean, I don't know where the potential was really. I was thinking it looked quite good in qualifying at one point. I think Rocco was in 4th with a 15.0 on softs, and I was thinking right at the end, I think with 4 minutes, I tried to go on a soft run but invalidated. So who knows really what it could have been. It will be interesting whatever tier I'm in next season. F1's grid looks almost too good to be true, and F2 will be interesting. I mean, I think in both tiers will be competitive, so I look forward to getting stuck in there.
Yeah, a lot of decisions to be made, I think, if they haven't already been made, of course, with the tiers. And obviously, given that we had that second pre-season race, I thought it was the best of the two, and fantastic race driving and racecraft, I should say, from a majority of the drivers out on track. It was fantastic to watch from my point of view. Nick, any questions for Bunty?
Nothing really. I was just going to ask, from that turn 1, if he got any side pod or anything damaged, but he did answer that earlier as well, which is yeah, I think it was I think it would have incurred like a really tough 33 laps, but yeah, it was unlucky from the start there, mate.
Thanks.
And obviously, whatever tier you're going to be in, going in towards Bahrain in 2 weeks' time, how do you think you're going to get on?
It's weird because on time trial I seem to be mixing it with some of the F1 guys, but then my race pace is a little bit lackluster. I mean, the spins today, obviously, around Spain, you kind of, my head wasn't there. When you're 30 seconds behind, I mean, there's not much to drive for, so just finishing the race was my aim. But I imagine in Bahrain, if I'm F1, I'll probably be where I was today, kind of lower midfield. If I'm F2, I could possibly fight for a podium, depending how many drivers attend, but, you know, I'm excited either way to see what happens in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I think we're all excited to see what's going to happen, of course, in 2 weeks' time. Go and enjoy your evening, Bunty.
Thank you, you too.
Will do. And that is the end, I believe. I don't think we have anyone else in the party with us, so that is the end of tonight's live stream here for FRL F1. But as T-Hawk rightfully plugged, in a very, very good way, I've got to say, we have got the announcements of the tiers coming up at 10 PM UK time, so that is literally an hour and a quarter away, so you can do whatever you want until now and then. Rejoin us for FRL F1, the tier announcements for FRL at 10 PM UK time, and of course we've got a week off in terms of the action next week, but we're back on the 16th of August to take you through the action once again, F3 and F4 on a Monday night at 7 PM UK time, and F1 and F2 on Tuesday at 7 PM UK time as well. You do not want to miss it. Nick, I'm going to throw the final words to you. Fantastic race that we saw out on track.
Yeah, amazing racing. We had the majority of the grid finishing as well, which is nice to see. But yeah, some really good tie battles. Can't wait for the upcoming season. Let's see where these drivers get placed, and I'm sure we're gonna have a thrilling, some thrilling races between F1, F2, whatever. Like, we will have some good racing between these drivers. But yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, across all tiers, I think the action is going to be great, no matter how small the tiers might be. Hopefully, quality will prove better than the quantity here in FRL, and hopefully that is going to be replicated throughout the long season that we've got ahead, of course, going in towards 2022. But that is the end for tonight. Nick, thank you so much for joining me in the commentary box. It's been an absolute pleasure. And who knows, this might be the GOAT commentary team that you might hear in FRL F1.
Yeah, who knows? Pleasure to work with you, mate, as well. First time commentating for in FRL as well, so I can't wait for more. But yeah, it was a good experience today. But yeah, thank you.
All I'm going to say with T-Hawk and Bunty here, they've got a very, very hard choice to pick in terms of my co-commentator for FRL. That is all I'm saying, but but we'll talk off stream, I'm sure. But that is the end for tonight, as I say, for FRL F1. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please stay safe and please keep on sticking to the guidance wherever you may be in the world. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.